Hey guys, this is AJ, and I just want to take the time out today to talk about a very, very, very important topic. And it's about resolving conflicts in your relationship. And do you forget? Do you move on? Do you forgive? Or do you just make it work and learn to forgive? Well, there are some things that you actually want to cover, and this is by all means, I did not adapt this all on my own. Jeffrey and I had a great opportunity prior to us actually getting married to actually go through an 8-week session with Pastor David here at the Hope Center in Atlanta, Georgia. And one of the things that he actually talked to us about, because it's so funny, prior to us actually getting into this session, we actually encountered a conflict within our relationship. So it was almost like perfect timing. And the first question he actually asked us was, what was the disagreement over? And you know what? Previously, I probably would say, and Jeffrey probably would say, I have no idea how it's even started. But with this particular subject, because it's actually it was a very sensitive matter at the time, we knew exactly what the disagreement was about, which actually turned into an argument, which ultimately almost ended our relationship. But luckily, Pastor David came into our life at the right time, and just so happened we had just started premarital counseling 6 weeks prior to this actual conflict. One of the things that he had us actually work on were, what is the most significant factor that's complicating your relationship right now? And once we was able to get to the root of that, from there, Jeffrey and I was able to actually discuss our points and to discuss how it hurt one another. And from there, we was actually able to get everything out there. And I honestly believe what actually helped us, because we had an unbiased party there listening and essentially being an unbiased mediator. There would be times where I would say something and he would have to correct me, and there would be times where Jeffrey would say something and he would have to correct him. And it goes back to what I discussed previously on Wind Down Wednesday about love languages and about the communication, because a female, we can say something one way and we mean it to be a certain way, but guess what? A male hears it totally different. And that's the same thing that applies to us. A man can say something one way and he means it how he thinks he means it. But as a woman, because we are some complex individuals, we receive it totally different. And one of the things that Pastor David actually taught us was, he said, Alicia, when you're trying to explain things, make sure Jeffrey completely understands what you're saying, and make sure he's telling you what he thinks he's hearing you say. And that a lot of times will eliminate a disagreement, which can actually essentially blow up into something totally different. Worst case scenario, actually end your relationship. And I don't want anyone to ever have to actually go through that. There's some steps, and you can actually go to this actual website. I don't know if you guys can actually see this. Peacemaking Principles. Can you see that? I hope you can see that. Now this is a source that we actually use from a biblical standpoint, and I don't want to really get into any religious preference, because the tools utilizing this can be utilized for anyone in a relationship, regardless of your actual religious background. And some of the things that it actually talks about is, let me see. Well, I actually heard my husband come in. Babe, Will you come in for a second? This is actually an impromptu. This is Wind Down Wednesday for a reason, right? Hey, babe, will you come get on this video real quick? Okay. You're fine. There's something called the 4 principles of peacemaking. And actually, I want to go over something a little bit better because, as I stated, I don't want to go into anything too spiritual or religious based because I want this to be able to capture anyone, regardless of your religious background, spiritual background, or whatever your background is. The 7 A's of a confession. So anytime there's actual conflict, you want to make sure you actually completely, fully confess. I'm going to speak for the ladies real quick. Men, you guys ask sometimes, why are we bringing this back up again? Well, sorry ladies, I'm going to go ahead and put the card out there. 9 times out of 10, the reason why a woman is bringing something back up is because for her, something is unresolved. For the most part, I can pretty much say 8-9 times out of 10, she knows you and she knows you have left something out. So, if you are truly at a point to where you apologize for hurting your significant other or your spouse, these are some key principles that you can utilize to confess and move past this, so you can actually get in the alignment of the forgiven phase, or shall I say healing phase of your relationship. And it is, you want to address everyone involved, avoid if, but, and maybes, admit specifically what the nature of the conflict is. You want to acknowledge the hurt, accept the consequences, alter your behavior, and number 7, but last but not least, ask for forgiveness. So you're going to address it, you're going to avoid ifs, buts, and maybes in your conversation, admit specifically the conflict, acknowledge the hurt, accept the consequences, alter your behavior, and ask for forgiveness. I can almost guarantee you, if you wholeheartedly do that and you are sincere of what you are actually trying to do, I can pretty much assure you, you'll be on a road to recovery of healing your relationship and actually making it better. What do you want to add on that? As my husband, he's eating. He just got home from work, so I apologize. And this is, like I said, this is going to be different from the normal wind down Wednesdays I do. But I've had so many people reach out to me and say, Alicia, some people know me as AJ, can you please talk about how do you get over hurt? How do you get over a disagreement? How do you make it better? So here I am. And here's my husband.
Hello.
Babe, I just actually talked about things that you and I went through when we went through premarital counseling.
Mm-hmm. What we went through?
Really? But I was just about as far as the things that we had to actually do to get through it. Anything you want to add?
You pretty much said everything.
Any suggestions for the fellas from a man's point of view?
Just be honest to begin with. That way you don't have any backtracking to do. You don't have to think about something. Just be honest. Put everything out on the table. Be real with yourself. Be real with your fiance, and be real with the counselor, whoever is doing your counseling. That's it.
What about for those who are not in counseling? They're just in a relationship. They're in their home. They're just at a point in a relationship where they're like, okay, what do we need to make this better? And for men, I hear often, I don't know what to do. What do you want me to do? What does she want me to do?
Mm-hmm. Well, depends on the situation, because what we need to do could be we may need to separate, and that doesn't mean break up. That just means split up for a little while. You can, just be in your own world for a week or so, just to collect your thoughts and for both parties can get your mind right and get yourself together. Because if you don't have a plan when you get ready to make this move, whatever move you're making, then you're gonna do the same things that you did that got you in that situation, as far as asking yourself, what's next? What do we need to do? I don't know what to do. So you need to separate and think about. He needs to think about what he needs to do, and she needs to think about what she needs to do. So, that just makes everything a lot easier, and it makes the road, or the ride, a lot smoother. That's just part of being honest with yourself. Sometimes you just got to separate to go on. Separate yourself from whatever you've been doing, collect your thoughts, strategize, do whatever you need to do just to make it right. That's it.
Well, guys, I hope that has actually helped you get to where you actually need to be to potentially heal your relationship or separate. We are for love. We love people. We love promoting love. While we're speaking on the topic of love, just because a person is they have decided to forgive you, you have to remember they have not forgot what has happened. So give it time. Oftentimes as individuals, because especially if you are a couple that's extremely in love, immediately you want to go right back to how things were. But sometimes you can't do that. It takes time. And I'm going to actually tap into intimacy. So just because the person says that I forgive you, that doesn't mean that they are ready to be physically intimate with you. You have to remember that. And if they are not ready, that is not, please do not take that as rejection, because that's not what it is. And speaking from a woman's point of view, when we are hurt, and you have to remember, everything for us is mental. So you have to give us time to get that out of our system, get that out of our brain, and get that out of our mindset and heal mentally. Because for us, when we become intimate with you, that's mental for us. So just give us some time.
Well said, wife. Well said. They just need time. Women just need time.
Well,
So
what
you
about
just
for
have
a
to
male?
respect.
If a woman does something to hurt the male, what about that? I mean, you guys, what? You guys don't care, do you?
We let stuff roll off. I'm very
Y'all are
nonchalant.
ready to be intimate the next
I'm
second.
very nonchalant. Very nonchalant about things. So it doesn't take us as long.
But I will admit, my husband and I, we've actually been together for a total, it'll be 5 years next month. But we've been married for 2.5 years. So I mean, there has been some times where I'm not thinking. I have said some hurtful things to my husband, and my natural reaction was, well, let me make this better. And there has been times where he may need a moment. Give him a moment. Give him his space. When a man says give him his space, give him his space. That doesn't mean. Now, I'm not saying going days without talking. That's not what I'm saying. But as far as just give him some space to process what's going on, because a lot of times men equate hurt to rejection, and men do not like rejection. But we've been talking here for a little while. I'm going to end it on that note. Again, this is Wind Down Wednesday.
Wind Down Wednesday.
Leave your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions for next Wednesday.
That's right.
Love you guys.
Love you guys. Good night. Thank
This
you
is
so much.
AJ and Jay Stokes.
All right.
We're out.